Hey, what's up and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Josh here, and today we're chatting about lighting, specifically how I light my YouTube videos here on this channel. And quick disclaimer here before we begin, I am by no means like a lighting professional. I am primarily a natural light photographer and videographer that shoots weddings and elopements and that kind of stuff outside, out in the mountains, out by the ocean, out in places where you don't need artificial light because you have beautiful natural light. But when I started my YouTube channel 6 months ago, I scoured the internet trying to find videos about how to light simple room setups like this one. This is literally just a bedroom in our house that we turn into an office so I can work and I can film my YouTube videos. And so I want to talk about the lights, specifically the lights that I use, how I use them, and I want to show you kind of some A/B comparisons about what each light individually does, and then how all of those lights work together to achieve this lighting setup here. This is not the perfect lighting setup, but what I wanted to do today is just bring like an honest explanation of my setup, because I guarantee you there's probably somebody out there who's in a bedroom space just like this going, how in the world do I light my videos? Just where I was 5 months ago. And so hopefully this can give some insight and some explanation about how I achieve this look, and then maybe you'll tweak things, maybe you'll do things the opposite way because you hate what I'm doing here. Either way, that's totally fine, but this is my setup for my current videos as of September of 2022. All right, let's get into it. So first off, let's chat about this room. This is not any sort of custom office space. This is just an extra bedroom in our house that we turned into an office space for me. Obviously you can see there's a door back there in the back. There's a window on this far wall here, as well as a window on the opposite wall of the desk. The room is about 12 feet long from the door to the window, and then from like the desk to the opposite wall, it's about 10 feet. So it's not a massive space, about 120 square feet. And this is basically the space that I have to figure out how to do lighting. So because I have two windows in this space, initially I was kind of thinking, all right, let's just open the windows up, use the natural light. Sounded like a great idea until I actually tried it out. Filmed a couple of videos that way and realized very quickly that as the clouds move across the sky, as the sun moves, as cars even drive by on the street, I get a lot of, lighting fluctuation. I would expose for the light that was on my face, and then things would get super bright, super dark, all the way through the filming process. And it just made filming things exceptionally complicated. So as much as I love filming in natural light, I knew that natural light was not the way to take these YouTube videos, and I was gonna have to light everything with artificial lighting. So in the space around me, there are actually 6 lights, not including the computer monitor, that are lighting up this space. And so I want to talk to you about each individual light, what that light actually does to this frame, to this space, and then kind of show you some examples on screen of what the light does, how it interacts with the other lights, and what effect it's actually having on this entire picture that you're seeing here. So if you've been on YouTube any amount of time and have looked at lighting setups from other YouTubers, I guarantee you, you've seen the main light that I use for my main key light here, and that's the Aperture C120D Mark II. So this is a phenomenally priced, very, very high output LED light. It's super quiet, it's daylight balanced, and so it's like a 5600 Kelvin light, somewhere in there. I forget the exact Kelvin number of the light, but it's a great light. And then on that light, I have the 3-foot light dome, and that just softens the light, kind of allows the light cast onto my face and onto my body to be nice and smooth and even. And that's the main light that I'm using right here to be like the key light and like the main light for these videos. In terms of overall intensity and direction, the C120D is set to about 60% power and is about 5 feet away or so from my face. I would have it closer, but I'm currently kind of multi-purposing this light, using it as a light to record the YouTube videos, but also then rotating it when I'm working at the desk and using it as basically a glorified desk light. So the C120D is my main kind of key light for this setup. And if you were watching the channel back 5 or 6 months ago when I first started posting videos consistently, you will have noticed that that was really my only light. And while the C120D is really a great light, I was missing any sort of like fill light for the other side of my face. I had a lot of shadows going on. I didn't really have any separation between myself and the background. And so that's when I decided to purchase 2 of the Nanlite Pavo tubes, the 2-foot LED lights. And the first of those lights you can see over my left shoulder here on the right side of the screen, mounted with a friction arm to the kind of cabinet that I have my cameras and lenses sitting on. And that light basically just serves as a fill light for the left side of my face, as well as a little bit of a separation light for myself in the background. Now, unlike the Aperture light, which only has to run at 60% power, the Nanlite is turned all the way up to 100%, and so it's currently running at maximum output. But the really cool thing about the Nanlite Pavo tube lights is that they are a full LED spectrum of light, which means I can turn those to any color I want. So I was able to color match the Pavo tube with the Aperture C120D, and so I have a nice consistent daylight balanced light from both the front of my face to be my main key light, as well as the background, so that I have the same kind of color temperature throughout the entire scene. The The third light you're seeing in this setup is just a desk lamp from Target. I mentioned this in my desk setup video, but inside this lamp, I have a LifeX LED bulb. Again, with the LED lights, it's super convenient because you can color rotate those and color match them to whatever you want them to be. So I've color matched the desk lamp so that on both the left and the right side of the background frame, I have the same kind of color temperature of light. So the desk lamp, well, it obviously serves the purpose of providing some light on my desk. It also serves the purpose of creating this nice, even backdrop where I have lights on both the left and the right side of my frame that are both consistent in the color as well. So this light doesn't serve a lot of purpose in terms of lighting me. It does give a little bit of like a separation light between myself and the background, but it's mostly just lighting up that corner of the frame and then kind of color matching and providing some background fill so that the entire background of my frame has the same kind of nice white light, nice clean light, so that the Pavo tube's not just hanging there alone. If I ever turned off that desk lamp, it just feel a little bit empty on the desk. So it just kind of provides some balance to the frame. The fourth light you're seeing in the scene is the Aperture ALM9. It's just a mini LED light, basically just turns on and off and has some brightness switches on it. And this is the light, I've talked about this multiple times before, but this is the light I just kind of throw in my bag when I'm shooting video. So if I need a small little consistent LED light, I have that for like a dance floor or something like that. I've just literally mounted this with the command strip to the top of the little shelf that holds my cameras. So it just kind of lights up those cameras, adds a little bit of depth and texture in the background of the frame. And I honestly just kind of think it looks cool in the background of the frame, just chilling there. There's a little light lighting up the cameras. I just think it looks cool. So, and that brings us to the last two lights in the scene. And these are both lights that you actually can't see. So the first one is just a floor lamp that's kind of off here to my left. That also has a LifeX bulb in it that I've color matched. So the aperture light is off here to my right and your left. The floor lamp is off to my left and your right. And that just kind of gives a little bit of a fill light to me, lights up the ceiling a little bit. And so it doesn't really do much to the scene. You can see the scene without any light and turning that light on. It doesn't really do much, but it's nice to have basically a consistent light from all four angles of me. So I have my main key light, my main fill light, a little bit extra separation light, and an extra fill light. So those kind of four lights really set the scene for the entire frame. And then the final light and the sixth light in this setup is another Nanlite Pavo tube, and that's actually laying on the floor behind me. So if I kind of get out of the way, you can actually see this. This is not a high-tech setup, obviously. This is literally just an LED light laying on the floor behind me, and I've just color temped it to blue to provide some separation between myself and the background. And the reason I tempt it to blue is because if you know anything about color science, you'll know that skin tones fall in kind of the yellow-orange category, and then on the color wheel, blue and teal are the opposite of that orange-yellow. And so what I'm doing with this light is kind of twofold. Number one, I'm providing just some extra separation for myself in the background by adding some more light back there, but I'm also creating some separation in the color space by literally having the opposite color to my skin tone behind me so that the background is blue, my skin tone fits in that more like yellow-orange category. And so you have this really nice kind of color contrast between teal-blue and yellow-orange, and that just creates some more visual dynamic, interesting kind of color separation there. And I feel like really that rounds out the scene, because if you turn off that light, the scene still looks great, but adding a little bit of that blue texture behind really creates that separation and adds that depth and kind of fleshes out the entire frame. So that's a look at my entire lighting setup for how I light my YouTube videos as of now. If that's been helpful, feel free to drop a like on this video. And if you're interested in the stuff that I'm putting out, feel free to subscribe. I really appreciate you guys joining the channel and joining the community here on YouTube. And as always, if you have any questions about my setup or comments on how I could make it better, feel free to leave those down below. I read every single one of my comments and I'm very, very appreciative of those. So thanks so much for watching this video and following this channel. See you in the next one. Peace.